All right, guys, we are here at CEDIA 2023. We're in the Masimo Training Center. We're looking at Bowers & Wilkins speakers. That's what we're going to be talking about in today's video. Hey folks, I'm Gene Delasalo with Audioholics. We're here with Michael from Bowers & Wilkins. How you doing, Michael?
Very good.
Awesome to meet you. So guys, I've been out to Bowers & Wilkins several times for product unveilings for the 800 series, for the 700 series. I think I missed the 600 series, but I sent someone else in my place. Every time I've gone out to their facilities, I've been very impressed with the demos. They show you the inside look of the speakers, the construction practices. I want to talk to you guys about the 600 series version 3 or S3 you call them, right?
Series 3.
And there's a lot of trickle down technology in here from 800s that originally were formulated. So why don't we talk about that stuff? What's different between the S2 versions and the S3, and maybe talk about the different comb materials and everything like that?
Absolutely. Physically, when you look at the front of the speaker, you can see some of the big changes. At the top, we have a brand new tweeter material. We've moved away from the double dome aluminum tweeter, and we've moved into a titanium tweeter for the new Series 3. Plays higher, plays a lot cleaner. I think it is a lot smoother of a sound coming from the titanium tweeter. Physically, also looking at the front of the speaker, you'll notice that the tweeter and the mid-range are closer together.
Yeah.
So that air that is coming off of both those drivers blend a lot better, and it really helps open up the sound stage.
I also noticed the baffle. I don't know if this was on the original S2s, but this is a pretty substantial baffle on here.
Yes, it is a very similar baffle to what we had on the Series 2. They were the same, but the cabinet itself has been stiffened up quite a bit. So we don't have as much resonance happening with the cabinet. Because of that, we're able to drive these speakers a little bit harder. So we have enhanced the motor systems, given them a little bit of an upgrade. It allows the bass drivers and the mid-range and tweeter to play a little bit harder because that cabinet is not going to resonate. You're going to hear more of the speaker and less of the cabinet. Can
you talk about the mid-range? Because I know you guys are famous for your surroundless mid-range, and this uses the same driver material that's in the 800 series. It's called Continuum.
That is correct.
Can you talk a little bit about that?
Absolutely. We introduced Continuum back in 2015 with the previous generation of 800 series speakers. 8 years in development and over 70 iterations before we got to what you see here today. The cone itself is the same on all the speakers. It's everything behind the cone that's driving it that makes it different from the 800 to the 700 to the 600. It is a fixed suspension transducer, or FST. We don't have a typical surround on this like you would see on a lot of other mid-ranges. The benefit of that is that any surface motion that might happen, think of an infinity pool, just rolls off the edge. And there's a surround of foam on the outside that will help absorb any of those standing waves. If anything does make its way back into the middle, we have our little anti-resonance plug in the middle that helps soak up more. But really the benefit of Continuum is it gets quiet quicker than the previous materials we were using.
So better transients, basically.
Yes.
So is this driver itself in its own chamber?
No. So these do not have isolated chambers. We kind of reserve that for the 800 series and in a couple of instances, the 700 series as well. Remember, this is a price point speaker. This is the entryway into the true sound of Bowers & Wilkins. So unfortunately, some of those things have to be given up in order to hit the price point we're trying to hit. However, the tweeter does have a Nautilus taper tube style housing behind the tweeter in the cabinet. Now, it's not pretty, but it does the job. It is aluminum cast, it is very dense, and it doesn't resonate the way the previous tweeter housing would resonate. We adapted this from our 700 series directly. So there's a lot of 700 series technology that we have moved into the speaker as it has been.
So I noticed when I was at one of your presentations years back, you guys use a lot of finite element analysis for all this and for all this resonance analysis that you do. Mm-hmm. That's a pretty sophisticated modeling tool, so you could do a lot of cool stuff with it.
Yes, that is something that John Bowers set out long, long ago, was when testing material gets better, we're going to get that testing material, we're going to find more problems, we're going to correct those problems or reduce them as much as we could. Right. And to this day, that is what we do. We find those issues, and if we can't eliminate it, we reduce it as much as possible.
Okay. So just looking at this cabinet, it almost looks like it's sealed, but I'm imagining there's a rear port on them?
Yes, these are ported in the back. We use something called a flow port. Flow port, if you look at the outside of it, it looks like a golf ball.
Yeah.
So it helps with turbulence, keeps down the chuffing from the base port.
Mm-hmm. So why don't you let us know the different models that this series has and the price range? What's the breakdown on that?
Absolutely. So we have right here, this is our tower. Right? This is the 603. This is the lone floor standing speaker in the lineup. Now keep in mind, 600 is a very compact line. It is our entry point into our in-room speakers. So it's not a wide variety, but this is our floor standing speaker, the 603. These are $2,500 a pair. The next step down will be our 606. That is our larger two-way bookshelf speaker.
6.5 inch driver.
6.5 inch driver, same tweeter, same housing behind in the cabinet. Those are going for $1,100 a pair. And then at $900 a pair, we have our 607s. That's using a 5.25 inch mid-bass driver, same size tweeter, same housing behind.
What about a center channel?
We do have a center channel. It is the HTM6 S3, obviously for the Series 3. It is the lone center channel in the series. That's why we just call it the HTM6. I believe that is $749 for the center channel.
Okay. So what would you recommend in this series or from your family of products for subwoofers to match with this to complement the bass response for a home theater environment?
Mm-hmm. We do still offer our ASWs. There is the 608, which is an 8-inch driver, and 610, which is a 10-inch driver. And then we have a 610XP, extra power, that allows that driver to push a little bit harder if you're really looking to move some air into the room.
Awesome. Well, you guys heard it. We dropped some knowledge here. Appreciate that, Michael. We will be doing more coverage of these products in the future for sure. We also have an editorial that we're working on that we're going to embed and put a link down below. So guys, if you like this video, please hit the thumb up, hit the subscribe. Don't forget about our Patreon channel at patreon.com/audioholics. We appreciate your support. You get direct access to me if you want to suggest video topics. And until next time, my friends, keep listening.